social sciences, unlike medicine and natural sciences, has a different way of looking at research, quite a different way. That is what I have found. They go into very fundamentals of it. The ethical issues start from the way you design your research question rather than after you start research there. So, that way I found it very, very interesting. And what I am going to do here is give you 4 major points for discussion today. One is to look at social sciences and ethics. What is the relationship? The development of ethical guidelines in social sciences, so that at least you have some historical understanding of it. There are certain doubts about doubts in the minds of social scientists about bioethics. All social scientists are not very comfortable with bioethics. Just as most of the doctors in India are not very comfortable with the idea of professional ethics or the medical ethics or the bioethics in general, same thing is true for the social scientists not only in India, but worldwide. And there is a massive debate going on whether we have the same kind of ethical oversight as it is existing in the medical research in the social sciences or not. Well, let us first look at what is the difference between 3 major things that we keep talking about. One is natural science, another is biomedical science, and third is the social sciences. And how the ethical issues are coming up in these 3 different types of sciences in 3 different ways. Those who are working with inert objects, chemicals and physical objects and all, the natural scientists, they may also be working in laboratories with various kinds of chemicals as well as living plants and those kind of stuff. And there you will find that they have a different way of looking at ethics. Much of the debate in physics and chemistry, you will find about how the information is ultimately communicated to the people. There is not much debate in those sciences about how the research is conducted. When you are conducting research and you are not involving any human subjects, at that time normally the ethical issues do not turn up. But in even those areas, you will find that some of the developments that took place, where the whole question is being asked, that when you are doing research, for what purpose the research is being done. You may be doing very fundamental research, but you know very well that this fundamental research is being sponsored, or it is being done in such a manner that its application is going to be for the destruction of the human life. In that situation, what to do? Do they have to start thinking about issue of ethics at the time they are doing research or not? I think those issues started coming up as soon as the findings of the natural sciences were applied to create a nuclear bomb. You also have a lot of things coming about the environmental destruction, that you are trying to create do a research which is going to get converted into technology which will lead to environmental destruction. You are trying to develop germs which are definitely marked for the germ warfare, or in genetic engineering, where you are using human tissues in order to bring out totally different life form which can be used hopefully for the betterment of the humanities. And there also these things have come up. So, it is very, very important that even in natural sciences, when we are discussing about the ethical issues, we have to talk about how it is going to be applied. We should not be the scientists who will do good fundamental research and then feel very depressed and distressed when it is applied for a totally different kind of purpose. That happened to most of those who ultimately discovered nuclear energy, and they had a really bad time when it was employed in a destructive manner. If you look at scientists, natural scientists, large number of them are working in those industries or those departments which are for the production of defense technologies. I mean, it seems that we have a lot of tolerance to those kind of scientists. We do not raise questions about ethics as far as they are concerned. We make them precedents. That is how it is. The person who discovers or who develops missile technology for India becomes precedent, and we still believe that that person has done right kind of thing, but a missile is for killing human being. So when you are applying, I think this is a very important issue, and we have to keep doing it, because many of us are also not working with directly with human beings, and we also work in the laboratories doing different kind of stuff there. The social sciences, on the other hand, as compared to the natural sciences, directly deals at every stage with the human being. This is the definition of social sciences. I'm not going to read it out. You can, it is a social research. It's a systematic inquiry. It looks at not only how human beings behave, what are the interactions, what are the various factors that led to those behaviors, but it also looks at the social institutions that society produces through the interaction of various individuals and groups there. And there are a number of disciplines there. So in a way, you have a small section of bioethics study to look at social sciences and ethics is a bit of a problem, because the spectrum of disciplines in social sciences is so large, and each one has a very specific ethical issues there. So sometimes you need to study them more in detail, each discipline separately. Social sciences is very young science. As compared to natural sciences, this is quite a few centuries younger. It had a history, I think, which ran very parallel to the scientific medicine, although it is still younger to the scientific medicine as such. It's a 14th century where some data through the religious institutions started being gathered. Because social sciences will never develop unless there are empirical data available. Empirical data, information that could be analyzed and applied for some kind of changes in the society. That is the fundamental to the development of any social science. And that starts very, very late in history. As compared to that, if you look at the philosophers who comes from the discipline of humanities, they date back to antiquity. They have written things, and we keep debating even today. But those philosophers did not really do systematic empirical data collection. They used a lot of arguments based on their experiences in the society. At times, they did have some informal way of having information in order to make their arguments, but they did not have a real base where large corpus of empirical data was available. So in 17th century, the first book comes out, which is recognized as a first sociobiographical study. And it is in the 19th century, when the census data collection starts, that the social sciences start emerging. And the 19th century was the century when most of the disciplines of the social sciences took shape, whether it is economics, anthropology, or psychology. All of them started emerging in the 19th century. The 19th century was also a very revolutionary century for medical sciences. Look at medicine as compared to this. Natural science on one hand, which is only dealing with the inert objects, and social sciences deals only with the human being and society. On the other hand, medicine has a foot in both the disciplines. You will find that many of us are also involved in laboratory research. We do a lot of chemical analysis and other kind of stuff. We also have a lot of social science work. And this is the quotation. You know who said this? This is a very famous author. I'm sure some of you must be knowing this quotation. Medicine is social science and politics is medicine at large scale. He was the founder of public health, Rudolf Virchow. That was the 19th century when he did the first epidemiological study and came out with data of epidemics in Europe. Very, very important statement that he makes. What he says is that medicine as it is practiced, whether it is public health or clinical medicine, is directly in relation to human being. What is more is that the contribution of medicine is not as great in combating the disease as that of the politics, simply because the social changes can contribute in the betterment of human health much, much more than the clinical medicine that we are practicing. So, this was the watchword that he came out with and became very, very famous after that. And it also says that as health professionals, when we do research, we have to keep this in mind all the time, that we may be discovering a lot of new drugs, but we have to also look at how much contribution that those drugs are going to make for the betterment of humanities in general. And we should, when we talk about priority setting in research, we should take that into consideration. When we sit in the ethics committees, oftentimes we never ask this question to the investigator, that is this research required to be done? Is it necessary for this country? And I sit on several ethics committees, and this question is never liked, neither by the ethics committee members, nor the institution, and investigator the list. They all are interested in saying that, yeah, but we get in a year 5-6 cases, and this drug company requires only 5-6 cases, and 1 year time, we'll recruit them. What is wrong? Let us do it. It's more of a business enterprise, that since money is coming, we have to do it, rather than finding out that such a huge research is necessary or not. And what happens after you discover the medicine? Will it really be available to the people who are, on whom the investigations are being done? So this is a very important area. Yeah?
You say medicine is a social science, and politics is medicine at large scale. What about if the politics is a bad politics?
Bad?
Yeah.
Bad politics.
Yeah. Then what will happen with the...
That also proves the same, what he says is true, that if bad politics, you are going to have bad medicine. Yeah. If you have good politics, you are going to have good medicine. That's what he's saying. He's just establishing a relationship. He's saying that by just having a medical intervention, you will not be able to better. I mean, and thereafter, McKeown and others did a lot of studies and tried to prove that the contribution of medicine is a very, very small in betterment of the health of the humanities. And all of us know who are in clinical medicine that when we give prescription to the patients, it is not our prescription all the time which makes the patient better, but there is a lot of things naturally in our body that contributes, and our medicine is just a kind of a facilitator, a kind of a trigger which helps out that person to come out of the problem that he or she is facing. I think this is the same thing that is applied at the larger scale to the society, and which I think holds true most of the time. You can look at Indian health system, and I don't think you will have any doubt that we require much better politics rather than all the time talking about having good health services, but we will not have it unless we have good politics around it. Social scientists often gets very intimidated by medicine. When I started research in social sciences, there were hardly any people in India who were doing it. That was in 1979. And social scientists or doctors getting involved in health research. Reason was very simple, that they were worried that how do I make a judgment on what doctor is doing? The doctor is playing with life and death, and doctor, people trust that person. How do I make a judgment? How do I do research on those people? But that if you see in a broader sense, the way we practice medicine is highly colored or shaped by the condition or the institution in which we are practicing it. Ultimately, that is the key. If you are able to understand the institution of payment, that is the financing of the healthcare services, the institution of how the medicine is regulated or audited in order to make it more effective and have a higher standards. If you try to find out how people access it, if those things are absent, then even if you are a great doctor, your reach to really do good for the humanity is much, much limited. So that is, I think, what this axiom brings out. Let us look at the guidelines. I wanted to also talk about some of the, you know about this, right? You must have seen, all of you, Nuremberg. Now, how Nuremberg has also affected social sciences. But let us look at the history. How social sciences emerge is very, very important. As I said, that